Hey, how are you doing? Good. It's Chris here from Six String Finger Picking. Now, one of the most common problems and frequent questions that I get from people that are just starting out with finger picking is, what fingers should I be using to play each string? And that's a really good question, and it's certainly something that you want to be concerned about when you're new to fingerstyle. Because if you're not, you're probably going to go down the wrong path. You're probably going to be doing it wrong, and of course, inevitably, that's going to lead to bad habits. And all bad habits are hard to shake, and reversing it takes a lot of effort, and it's not a very enjoyable experience. So you want to get it right from the very beginning. So in this lesson, I'm going to be teaching you exactly what fingers you should be using to play each string whilst finger picking. So the first thing I'm going to teach you is this general rule of thumb, no pun intended, that kind of allocates fingers to each string, and it's a really good place to start. Bear in mind that this rule is broken pretty frequently, but it's a really great place to start, and I'll show you later when you might consider breaking this general rule. So the rule states that the thumb plays the E string, it plays the A string, and it plays the D string. Okay, so E, A, D. The bottom three strings are played using your thumb. Then the third string, the G string, is played with your first finger. The second finger plays the B string, and your third finger plays the high E string. Okay, so thumb, 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 1, 2, 3. And you just want to practice that. So thumb, 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 1, 2, 3, E, A, D, G, B, E. Do that a few times, get used to it, and then also do it going backwards. So play strings E, B, G, or 1, 2, 3 with 3, 2, 1 fingers, and then 4 with the thumb, 5 with the thumb, and 6 with the thumb. You really want to get used to that. And that rule works great pretty much any time you're playing a chord with a root on the low E string. So a G, for example. If I hold down a G, I could play a pattern like I could play strings 6, 3, 4, 2, and then 5, 3, 4, 1. So 6, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 1. And that's a brilliant pattern. It's not the easiest finger picking pattern in the world, but it's a great one because it uses all 6 strings, and it's also using all 4 of your finger picking fingers. So 6, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 1. Take that pattern really slow on a G chord and practice it over and over again until you're more or less comfortable with it. And that really trains your fingers to be allocated to each string. Up to speed, it sounds like this. So that's going to work on, as I say, the rule will work on any chord that's on the low E string, that has a root on the low E string, also any chord that has a root on the A string, like a C chord, for example. This general rule is going to work great on those chords. So on a C chord, you could play, more or less the same pattern. You could play strings 5, 3, 4, 2, and then 5, 3, 4, 1, and just practice that. So as you can see, that general rule is applied, and it's going to work really, really well. Then when you move on and you've got a root on the D string, like a D chord, for example, you could still do it. There I'm playing the D string, the B string, the G, and then the high E, and I'm playing thumb, 2, 1, 3. But the problem is, I think if you're coming from, say, a G and then a D, to then go into that pattern, which the general rule states you should do, you kind of lose the momentum a little bit, and you completely lose the feel for it. So here, what you would want to do is play the D string with the thumb, and then also play the G string with the thumb. Okay. So on strings 4 and 3, use your thumb. And then on the B string, this time you want to play that with your first finger, and then the high E string, you want to play that with your second finger. So if I'm playing strings 4, 2, 3, 1, you might want to play thumb 1, thumb 2, like that. And as I said, the reason being, if you're coming from other chords, which very frequently you're going to be playing chords with a root on the A string and a root on the D string, the E string, when it comes to you playing a chord with the root on the D string, like a D chord, you're going to completely lose the feel and the drive and the momentum that you've built up in your thumb. So if I play this, and then C, it feels very uncomfortable to change to that. And it's much more comfortable to keep that pattern going just by moving it up a little bit and then back. So that's one time that you will break that general rule. And pretty much all the time when I'm playing a root with a chord with a root on the D string, I do break the rule. Now, you don't always have to use your third finger on the high E string. If we go back to, to a C pattern that we did, you certainly don't always have to use your third finger, and there's a lot of players that really use it very, very rarely. However, I think it is great to make it part of the team and to not leave it out and to really build up the strength in it. So you could play, strings 5, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 1. You could play that high E with your second finger like this. And there's a lot of great players that will do that, and I do that myself, fairly often. But if you think about it, just having these fingers, 3 fingers, isn't as good as having these 4 fingers. Why? If you do train this finger to frequently play the high E string, it's going to take a little bit of stress and allow your second finger to relax a little bit, because this one's going to take some of the work. And also, it's not much of a problem at slow tempos, but when you're playing songs at really fast tempos, you need this third finger to build up the speed. But just bear in mind that a lot of the time it is okay to play the high E string with your second finger and not your third finger. So it's really good to know that, and therefore you're kind of breaking that general rule. So you can use this general rule pretty much 90% of the time when you're playing fingerpicking, but of course, as I say, there are times that we break it. So here's a couple more examples where you might want to break it. If I'm doing a roll like this, okay, so there I'm playing strings E, A, D, G, or 6, 5, 4, 3, and then I play 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 4, 3, 2, 1. So there, as you can see, I brought my first finger, second finger, and third finger right up, way out of position. And I play the 6 with my thumb, the 5 with my first finger, the 4 with my second finger, and the 3 with my third finger. And then I push it all up and just continue that pattern. Okay? It wouldn't make sense to play it like that, because obviously you're not going to be able to do it that fast and just having your fingers rolling like that. Likewise, I could do a pattern like this. It's a nice pattern. So there, I'm playing on an E chord. I'm playing the B string with my thumb, then the high E string with my second finger, and then the B string with my first finger, and then move it through the strings. Like that. So I've got my thumb way up there, on the B string. Again, it wouldn't make much sense to play the general rule, because you're not going to be able to do it very fast. So there's just a couple of other times when you're going to break it. And the longer that you play fingerstyle for, the more songs you learn, the more experience you get, the more great fingerstyle players that you watch and see what they do and how they select which fingers to use, the more you're going to realize it and you're going to learn. And eventually, with enough time, patience and practice, you'll be doing it with using exactly the right fingers, and you won't even be thinking about it. But start here and practice this, and you'll be on the path to success. Okay, so that's it for this lesson. I really hope you've enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and head over to sixstringfingerpicking.com for loads more fingerstyle guitar lessons. I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.